With all the talk about gun violence and the mass shooting in Florida, what about violence in the schools day to day? I had a column last Sunday in the State Journal. I was approached by two former deans at Memorial High School who said they didn't like the violence. Violence was out of control. Tim Ritchie had been a teacher for 18 years at Jefferson Middle. They wanted to be an athletic director at Memorial, and a dean at Memorial said he didn't become a teacher to deal with violence. Kathy Accardi, who'd been there 24 years, 14 years in special ed, was a dean at the time, December of 16, had to break up a fight between two 16-year-old sophomore girls. He was pounded on. Now she has spinal injuries. She can't work. She's in pain with a C6 and C7 vertebrae. She says some students who are in this subgroup, this subset, don't want to engage the system. They don't want to learn. They're there to fight or have lunch or cause trouble or whatever, but they're not engaging the system. And there are people downtown who changed the discipline code in 2014, 2015, because a disproportionate number of African Americans were being suspended. They wanted to keep them in the school. And that's a good goal. But as Kathy said, when she was one of two deans, they might have an in-school suspension for somebody who was high on marijuana. And during that, they're supposed to give them 75 minutes of work, as a consultant from Chicago trained them to do. But then the scanner goes off. 3 minutes later, they got to leave and go deal with another problem in the school, maybe in the cafeteria. So in that time, that first child is sitting there alone, unattended, who's in the in-school suspension. Nobody's there to watch or administer work. And Kathy said they might get a good nap. Some students go to class for 1 minute of the class. They show up for 1 minute, and then their teachers mark them as tardy. And I said, what do? They just are in school, the building, but not class? Well, they sit in the cafeteria. They may sit in a foyer. Look, if we're going to, and of course they have 5 levels. Level 1 could be mouthing off in class, if there's a discipline code. Level 2 could be grabbing an arm and laughing. Level 5 could be violence that leads to an expulsion hearing. The goal, though, is to cut down on suspensions and keep them in the building. Here's my point. There's no question that for some children, home is the worst place they can be, but the regular school setting isn't working for them. There has to be a third place, administered by professionals in a specialized environment to deal with those students' needs. Home is bad, regular school is bad, a third way is needed. And those are my 2 cents. My 2 minutes are brought to you by Capital Consultants and Edge Construction. Mike Tuig and his staff can redo your kitchen, your basement, your bedroom, your staircase, make your home feel just like home. We can talk about this and more in the Mitch Henck Show on madison.com and Facebook Live.